and we're going to go over their biggest weakness. All of these playoff teams have a flaw, and we'll discuss it. Let's start off with the first team. What do you think is the Denver Broncos' biggest flaw?
I think our biggest flaw is our skill position players.
Easily. Yeah.
Our biggest issue is that we can't catch the ball consistently. And I also will put it on Bo Nix to a certain degree. There are times where he puts a little bit too much heat on his passes. And you got to be smart situational. I think Trevor has a big issue with that too. It's just sometimes we're always on go. I'll put Caleb Williams in that bracket as well. Just throwing way too hard sometimes when you need a little bit more finesse. But there are times where our wide receivers are just dropping passes that they have no business dropping. And that is my main concern. The skill position players. I also will say our secondary is beat up right now, and it's not the best version of what we've known it to be over these last few years, and of course early on this season. That's definitely where we're at right now, but I can't be upset, man. One of the best pass rushes in the league. Just one of the most talented rosters that we have in the league, one of the most complete teams we have in the league. And it's going to be the worst that we're going to be over these next couple of years. It's exciting times to be a Broncos fan. But yeah, if I had to pick a weakness, I would put our skill position players number one.
The Broncos were the one team that I just didn't know. You could say the offense is a weakness, defense is a weakness, the offense is strength, the defense is a strength. It was really difficult for me when I went through all 14 of these playoff teams. The Broncos were the one team I came back to. I was like, you can make arguments different ways because since they're top 5 in EPA per play. Bo Nix has 3 games to 300 plus yards. Defensively, they haven't been the same shutdown unit, but they're still top 5 in success rate. I think lacking a true difference maker and skill position matters. You drop a lot of passes. You talked about that earlier. Number 1 in terms of drop passes this season. RJ Harvey, I think, has played well, but I don't think he's in an ideal role being the workhorse of this back, getting 15 to 20 touches. I don't think that's what they envisioned him as when they drafted him. And I think the only thing defensively that stands out to me is they don't force turnovers. They're bottom 6 in the league in terms of turnovers forced. They have 13. When you look at all the playoff teams, they're the only team, at least in the bottom 6, that is, in the playoffs, that is bottom 6 in turnovers. So it still comes down just to like how much you trust the offense, right? If I had to pick one, what do I bank on showing up in the playoffs? I bank on the defense showing up no matter who they're playing, right? If they're playing Josh Allen, the Bills, I think they're going to show up. New England and Drake May, they're going to show up. Offensively, I think is where you have more questions. Where if you're going up against a defense that's weak like New England, I'm like, yeah, Bo Nix could go out there and throw for 300 yards and have 3 touchdowns. Like we've seen Bo Nix do that. If you go up against Houston, if you go up against Jacksonville, 2 defenses that have given him problems this year, that's where you can see the offense spur a bit. So if I had to choose, it would be offensively going up against some top defenses. What does his passing game look like? Is RJ Harvey able to be efficient? And then when it comes down to it, 3rd down, 4th down, 4th quarter, what receiver are you going to? It's going to be Cortland Sutton most likely. Is he going to be able to win, one-on-one against Lassiter or Derek Stingley?
That's the issue. It really is on Troy Franklin, man. Like a lot of the success we want to have is on Troy. Troy is, I don't want to use the word elite because that is strong.
It's very strong. He's good.
He's a great separator.
Yeah,
he is great at getting open. It's just catch the ball. And I mean, it's your job. And sometimes he's not great at it.
He's the taller Dontavian Wicks 2 years ago, you're saying?
You know what? I deserve this. For making fun of Dontavian Wicks, I deserve a Troy Franklin. Because he can be so great. He can be legitimately great. He just needs to hang on to the rock.
There's a few kind of questions I have with this Bronco team. It's for as, I think, rock solid as Riley Moss has been, there are weeks where he does struggle at times. And the second half of this pass defense can be had. I think we've seen it over the bye, but I am with Dells in the sense that I think the Broncos, for as well coached as they are offensively, lack that true alpha or difference maker offensively. And it feels like everyone's kind of being catapulted into a role that you would ideally like them to have a smaller kind of responsibility in this offense. So for Denver, I'd go to weapons.
I think it's the receiving room. I think it's the run game, and I think it's the secondary outside of Surtain. That's what I think it is.
You're not a Riley Moss guy?
No. I think he's all right. He's a good rotational corner. Having him tasked with guarding who he has to guard, he's vulnerable. He gets picked at. I understand the argument that he gets targeted because he's opposite of Surtain. People ain't trying Kamari Lassiter like that. If you're one of them ones, you're going to be one of them ones. When I was a Jets fan, Darrelle Revis and Tony Cromartie we didn't look at Antonio Cromartie like a liability. We looked at him like, yo, we trust him in coverage.
Sauce and DJ Reed.
He could hold up against anybody. Riley Moss is not like that. I think that's their weakness. And then they have their other corners, Jahdae Barron, Jaquan McMillan, who they could be up and down. The receiving room, they're second in drops. That hurts. And then RJ Harvey's averaging 3.9 yards per carry. So my worry with the Broncos is that they're not going to be able to play complementary football, and they could fall behind on drops, being able to not run the ball. So then they're in longer third down situations. But they're a rock solid team. I think that even most of these weaknesses would be strengths for other teams.
Yeah,
like I don't think that it's just their weakness, but it's not a glaring weakness for them.
I don't disagree.
Next team up, the Patriots. And for me, it was easily the receiving room and then the pass rush. I think they can get pressure on the interior with Milton Williams and Christian Barmore, but those edge rushers, Harold Landry Jr. has been better, but he can't get consistent pressure, and K'Lavon Chaisson is opposite of him. So those are the two spots that I'm worried about on the defense, but their coverage is great. They got a great tackling linebacker. Drake May has been elite. Travion Henderson, we know, is a star. The weapons, maybe in the playoffs, they prove that they're better than we think they are, because Stephon Diggs has been reliable. Hunter Henry, solid. And then Kayshon Boutte can make a play down the field. Kyle Williams is getting more involved now. So this is a young group that they have a lot to prove as a unit in the playoffs.
I agree with you. It would have to be pass rush for me, because the weapons we've seen guys step up. Travion Henderson being uber efficient, and weeks where he hasn't been as involved, Ramondre Stevenson has a big 2-touchdown game. I really do look at Stephon Diggs, and we've seen a lot of inconsistency this year, but we've seen the highs.
I agree.
And I look at this passing game with Drake, man, Stephon, and I think they have enough juice in the weapons room. I'm actually more optimistic with the Patriots' weapons being more reliable than the Broncos. And that goes back to the run game being more efficient. Stephon Diggs, I think he's just an underrated player right now. And like you highlighted, a lot of these veterans like Hunter Henry and Kayshon Boutte have stepped up. Pop Douglas, another one.
To me, it's the injury to Milton Williams. If he's ready to go first round of the playoffs, I'm good. I think that the rush defense will have it together. If he's not there, the whole defensive line becomes my concern, because now you're right. The pass rush has been an issue, but now while Milton's been injured, the rush defense has definitely taken a huge hit while he's been out. I don't mind these skill position players. Maybe I'm in the minority on that. Stephon Diggs is reliable. You know that. The combination between Ramondre and Travion has been excellent. Drake May, you know what he's going to give you. Hunter Henry has been very, very solid and consistent for them as well. Kayshon Boutte banged up a little bit, but he's been a solid, reliable, deep threat for Drake May as well. To me, it's this line as a whole for them on the defensive side of the ball, whether it's getting after the quarterback or stopping the run. That's their main concern.
Yeah, I think what you guys said is basically in line with what I'm thinking. Defensively, Drew's right. If you don't have Milton Williams, it becomes everything. If you have Milton Williams, at least you feel good about the rush defense. But still, defensively, it's a team that doesn't stack the quarterback. They don't force turnovers. They've been the worst red zone defense in the NFL, 32nd, and they're below average on third down. So just defensively as a whole, like, they can't really stop anyone. This is going up against a really easy schedule, one of the easiest schedules we've seen in recent memory. So when you're going up against, offenses that have star quarterbacks or great play callers in the playoffs, what's it going to look like? It's a defense that struggled all season long. I don't think it's going to get better overnight. So defensively, I think they're going to have a hard time no matter who they play.
Next team up, the Jacksonville Jaguars. A team very difficult to find a true glaring weakness for.
Yeah.
The secondary, I guess, is the one thing that you could say, and that's kind of been the one thing consistently. The rush defense has been excellent all season long. It has been.
Oh.
But if there's one thing that the Rams are going to fuck around and win this game. That's hilarious. But the Jaguars on offense, I kind of look at right now without a single hole. Their run game has been really strong. Their passing game has been strong. Their run game has been really strong, not just because of ETN. Trevor Lawrence has been a huge part of that, especially in the red zone area. I think he has three or four rushing touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. He's made that a huge part of his game, and he's been excellent in that regard. He's been accurate. He's been fantastic. Nothing negative to say about the offense. If I had to nitpick, I'd say the secondary is the one thing. And it does make me think, like I stated earlier, if Travis Hunter were to inevitably come back next year, if he were to play a position more, I see him leaning towards the secondary in that corner position because that's their one need that they really should clean up, and it will be a game changer immediately.
Yeah, I'm with Drew. I think it's the secondary. I think it's the pass defense. They're 14th in dropback success rate this year defensively, 11th most passing yards per game allowed. But they're like Denver, where they're a pretty complete team. So finding holes it could still be difficult. Liam Cohen, first time head coach, what does it look like in a playoff game? I think Trevor Lawrence, for the most part, has shut a lot of people 90% up, saying like, no, this is who Trevor Lawrence is. This is what he's going to play like. But I think people will have just questions about him naturally. But they're a really complete team. Like it's not a fluke that they went into Denver and won by multiple scores, right? This is a team that all season long, beginning to end, has had impressive wins. We look at the KC game beginning of the year. Of course they had the brutal game against Houston, but ever since then they were able to bounce back, and they've been dominant. So it's hard to find a real weakness with this team. Them and Denver, to me, feel like the two most complete teams in the AFC. It would just be, their pass defense isn't elite. That's really the only thing.
Yeah, you really have to nitpick. Maybe it's you don't think the run game is efficient, but in most of these games where it's not, they're usually blowing these teams out typically. But I'd have to go back to outside corner. That'd probably be my biggest gripe.
This is a team that I am the most enamored with in the AFC right now, that I want to go all in on, because I think the Jaguars, they don't lack anything. I trust their quarterback. I trust their coach. I trust their defense. I trust their players. There's a spark to them right now. But then there's the other side of me telling me it's Jacksonville. And things don't usually good happen in Jacksonville, but this could be the turning point of their team. I'm feeling something in the air. I think it's the secondary. I'm in alignment with you guys. But when I look into what they've been doing, Jordan Lewis is now out for the season.
It's unfortunate.
That really hurts. And it hurts because now Greg Newsome has to play more. And Greg Newsome has not been that good with the Jaguars. Right now, their two boundary corners, Monteric Brown and Jerry Jones, they have played outstanding. Jerry Jones, I remember last year watching his film when they were like a 4-win team, and he has some good reps on film. And this year, in a more opportunity, he's the guy that made the interception on Bo Nix on 4th down. Like, he makes plays, and he's aggressive. He's a physical corner, and I think they have enough outside. Like, I don't view those two as Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon. Like, I don't trust the Packers corners. The Broncos corners, even with the injuries, I trust them. Jordan Lewis, that loss hurts. But I think this is all around a good, really solid team. Like, their safeties, even Antonio Johnson, who was like a journeyman, turned into an elite player this year. They have those guys really playing well, and I don't see a major weakness, but if I had to point to one, it would be the Jaguars.
Secondary.
Yeah, my bad. It would be the Jaguars secondary if I had to point to a weakness on their team.
I guess a weakness would be just being Jacksonville. Like, that is a weakness. I get that.
And, they don't have the mainstream hype behind them.
Yeah. That should. You know what's crazy? Sean Payton was right. He's right. Look at the Pro Bowl. How many Pro Bowlers did they have?
I have no idea.
I think they had one.
Nah, bro. Devin Lloyd was snubbed. Josh Hines Allen was snubbed. They didn't have anybody.
Who was the Pro? Oh, they didn't have any.
At least I thought they had one on special teams.
Maybe special teams. My bad. Maybe
Cam Little?
Maybe I don't know.
No,
but I do know that offensively, defensively, they didn't have none.
But you understand? That's the point.
Yeah.
These other teams that have the bigger markets, their players get heavily voted for, and they show out for them, and they are in the game. Not that the Pro Bowl
Logan
really
Cook,
means anything.
Punter was the
but
one.
It was the punter, right? Oh, you're saying that you're still
we've had a lot of arguments over Pro Bowls on the show, so
I know
it matters to some people.
We've stayed consistent over the years.
Oh no, sorry, long snapper.
It is the long snapper.
Shout out to the long snapper.
So but Sean Payton was. People can take anything and make it motivational. Respect. I don't mind that.
Wait, what are you talking about?
So when Sean Payton said that they're a small market, and that he was giving them their flowers to be a small market team and to have success, Sean Payton was giving him his due diligence, and the Jaguars their respect for being as great as they are. But you can find motivation in anything.
So Jaguars took offense to Sean Payton saying that they're a small market
I did
team.
see Liam Cohen after the game.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, you didn't see that?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, that's exactly what I'm saying. People find motivation in anything.
Yeah.
You're saying it like it's like it kind of was a little jab though. You don't see it?
I don't know. It's kind of like Utah being great.
But in the NFL, there's so much parity. Like Kansas City is a small market team.
100%. No, they're not.
You don't think so?
The Chiefs?
I think they have grown
They're
to
a
be
huge
a big
brand.
market.
Yeah.
They're a huge brand, but
They're
the
a small
market's
market, but a huge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Brand
Like,
versus
It's
market.
Kansas City, you know.
Okay, Jacksonville is a small brand and a small market.
but it was like Sean
I
Payton
think
was
it's a
like,
mid-sized market, Jacksonville.
How?
But they don't have any hype. There's not much of a brand there.
What's
but
the market
Jacksonville's
they have?
In terms of like the city, like the metropolis, down like the population, I think it's like a medium-sized NFL market.
bro, Sean Payton
Maybe
was
a little
like,
smaller.
Sean Payton was like, they're good for a small market team.
That's not what he said.
That's what he said.
I don't
That's
think he
not
said
what he
that.
They're good
said.
for a
I
small
think that's
market
what the
team.
coaches and Liam Cohen said. This is what he
Hell
fucking
yeah, that's
said.
what they
And
said.
that's what I'm saying.
Hell yeah,
I
that's what they said.
respect the fuck out of them for turning it and making it motivational. Find motivation in anything. They went and they kicked our ass.
Yeah, they did. It was bad.
They kicked our ass. I got nothing negative to say about
It
Jacksonville.
was horrendous. They bugged out.
I wouldn't say it was horrendous. The fourth quarter was unfortunate.
Nah, they just kept scoring.
Non-stop, bro.
Nah.
Parker Washington
Went
killed
crazy.
us. He kept it up versus the Colts, so that kind of made me feel
He's
okay.
been awesome.
He's
It has
just a,
been.
he's just a stud, man. But now there ain't a lot of hype in Jacksonville. Next group of teams, Steelers, Ravens. For the Steelers, I think it's pretty much everything.
I said everything for the Steelers.
I don't think they do anything at a high level, and that's their
You
problem.
don't think they get out to the quarterback good?
No, TJ Watt hasn't played. He has.
He's hurt.
He's
But
recovering from a
he
collapsed
should
lung.
be back.
They said the next important game he'll play, which is Week 18.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I don't know. And even the player he's become, he's not the same. He's like getting pressure at a 10% rate.
Still
this
an
year.
elite run stuffer.
He's on
Yeah,
200
but
total
he's
yards.
he's not
Good
TJ
boy.
Watt no more, and I think that's the big thing here. Like, I don't trust him at all. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson's health,
He sucks.
the offensive line.
The fuck.
You think I hate Jordan Love? You think I hate Jordan Love?
I do.
I hate Lamar. And I will never root for him ever again.
He doesn't need your rootness.
Okay, that's fine. Doesn't matter whether he succeeds or fails. I'm not going to root for him.
Oh. Yeah, the Steelers have the same as you, Joel. I think everything's a weakness. I don't think they do anything well. I think their defensive line is solid, even with TJ, Herbig, Alex Highsmith. They have edge rushers galore there, but there's nothing you could really point to and be like, that's their MO. That's how they're going to beat you. They just don't have that. The Ravens, Lamar obviously is probably number one right now. He looks bad. He just doesn't look good. The offensive line has question marks. The defense, said it earlier in the show, it's gotten better, but this is like an average at best defense. It's not a defense I think scares anybody with a competent offense.
Let me ask you something. Right now, the media is making a big push for Josh Allen to have all these postseason expectations. If you don't get it done in this week AFC, then when will you get it done? That's the narrative being
I
formed
love that.
around Josh Allen right now.
It's awesome.
What if Lamar Jackson gets into the playoffs? Do we view the Ravens the same way?
I don't view Buffalo. I don't know. Buffalo's tough because we just talked about them. They have flaws. None of us thought they would even win a playoff game, or maybe had them win in one game. Like, none of us thought this was a legit Super Bowl contender. So, listen, if you want to be like, it's Josh Allen, you got to do what you got to do, fair. This doesn't feel like that year to me.
That is an unfortunate narrative that's being pushed on him. That's fine with me. I'm fine with it because
You're Josh Allen. You're Lamar. I get
this
it.
is the weakest you're gonna see, but that's a terrible narrative because that's really a quarterback-driven narrative. Because the Broncos are talented; they're more talented than the Bills. The Texans are they're an unbelievable defense with an underwhelming offense. The Jaguars are extremely talented. You could say that the Patriots, if they were to lose to them, that's inexcusable because it's a division game. They've already beat them once this season. It does feel equal. I agree with that. That's the one I won't give them a pass for. But there's some great teams in the AFC and some amazing teams in the NFC as well. So it's an unfair narrative that's going to be pushed that I'm okay with. But I also will feel similarly with Lamar Jackson, though.
They're in the same boat with the Bills and the Ravens because the running games have been both awesome. And there's holes in the defense. There's questions. Is the weapons good enough? And I just think for that reason, if the Ravens sneak in, which they should, TJ Watt's doubtful to play. Lamar's 50-50 for this Week 18 game. Baltimore should kind of have similar expectations to Buffalo. Whatever I said before, very bizarre. Jaguars, Jacksonville's the 10th biggest market in terms of population, but it's 24th among NFL cities. So don't listen to what I said before, for whatever that means. I don't know. That being said, the Ravens' biggest issue to me is really that pass rush. And the defensive lines has been so underwhelming after losing Justin Matabuke. Whereas the offense, you still have an engine there with Derrick Henry playing sensational football.
Yeah, I think that what you're saying, Drew, is Josh Allen is not running to the top quarterbacks, but he's running into some top defenses.
For sure.
And in football, the quarterback plays the defense. They don't play the opposing quarterback. So essentially, even though these quarterbacks are not in the race, this is still a tougher path.
I think so. And I don't think that that's... People have made NFL so quarterback narrative driven. Fine, they're the most important player. They're the most valuable player. I can understand where people are coming from to a certain degree. But football's much bigger than that. We all understand that. So Josh going up against the Broncos. Josh going up against the Texans. Josh going up against, to a little bit lesser extent, the Jaguars, who are still in a really strong defense as well. It's like, or now let's say, best case scenario for them, they make it to the Super Bowl. They have to go up against Seattle. They have to go up against the Eagles, who they just were in one of the most disgusting great games I've ever seen. This is a tough road for them. If Josh were to do this, he'd get endless credit from me. This would be one of the more impressive because his team is not good, in my opinion.